Good evening, everyone. I'm Neha, Ambassador of Training for GETI. I'm so sorry that's happening. So, is that happening from your end as well? This sound? Oh, it has stopped. Okay, I'm so sorry for this. There's this sound coming from your. Is that coming from your end?
A little bit.
Uh, check your settings, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, I think it has stopped. Okay. A very good evening once again to everyone. I'm Neha, Ambassador of Change for GETI, that is Global Education and Training Institute, as we just saw. And today I am honored to have amongst us Mr. Jay Prakash K. Singh, who is a freelance trainer at Om Foundation School, Delhi, and extensively speaks about various educational topics. And today he has joined us this evening to talk about educational fallacies, a topic I think is very important for all of us in the education sector to understand. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so let's start. Let me
Sir,
share
you
my
have to
screen.
share your screen again with the
Yes.
presentation. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So today the topic is educational fallacies, the reflection of immature thoughts. Right. So today it's that it came into my mind because I have 16 more than 19 years experience as a teacher trainer, right? So actually I got this topic very interesting to tell you, to share you, right? So before this is starting, before going into the content and the issues or the solutions or so many things, I have some questions to share or to ask you. Ask you, sir. First, what are the reasons? First question, English is taught from the very beginning, but after more than a decade, a student is not able to speak or write or both effectively. Second question, students learn SST, maths, language, science, but most of them are not able to use them or relate them to their lives, environment, and society. Unemployment is on its peak. And fourth one, are we receiving correct information or we are ship-mind people? Should grammar be taught? So I'm going to talk each and every questions and this topic in the context of English language. So first of all, I would compare these two education systems, ancient and modern. Ancient means here that Gurukul system of education, and modern education means here that I have made it just like political system of education. Political system of education, it means that today we see that National Education Policy 2020. But after a long time, after I think that about 3 decades, it is going to be changed. But this time it is in experimental stage. Okay. So let's start now. Ancient education. What we see by comparing these two education systems. First one is that in education, ancient education system, there was skill-based education, and theory was understood in built into practical, and it was a complete rational blending of theory and practical. And if I see modern education, it is nowadays theory-based education. Because people pay attention, students and teachers, or I will say that the curriculum that has been made in the way it focuses more on theory, right? No experiential learning in schools and colleges, a huge gap among a language as a subject and a language as a skill, and it is continuously going on, right? Theory and practical both have that a huge gap in books and in practice. I have written it here. what we study there, we are not able to practice. We are not able to use it. We are not able to bring it into function. And if I see ancient education, so it focuses on mind education, individual needs, personality development, character development, life skills, and the content uh, can be given or can be shared by different techniques, by different procedures, by different approaches, by the teachers, or we can say that by the gurus. Now, next, modern education system. Let's see that national education policies I have mentioned here. It was started in 1968, first change, and then 1986, and then 2020. And in 2022, we see that only a little trace of national education policy. Only experiment is going on. We can't say that it is good or not good because content has not been changed till now. It is not in light. So national education policy is not based with needs. What our need, what our demand. And if I talk about languages and literatures prescribed in schools and colleges, are they fine? Are they fit? No, they are not fit to be used as a skill. And so that is the reason we are not getting desirable outcomes. If I give examples of UP, Bihar, and other states too, actually I have exposures of UP and Bihar, so that is the reason I have given examples. So UP, Bihar, English taught as traditional grammar, translation method, right? There are so many rules in translation method that can't be used in our language, in our functional language. It has confined, right? Not focused on functional aspects of language and grammar. And if I talk about CBSE, if I talk about NIOS, so CBSE is just in the same on the same track, but a little bit polished. If I talk about NIOS, so NIOS has taken a little bit initiative by giving ESP to class 12. Means here that English for a specific purpose. When I was the member of IATFL, actually I learned this concept, English for a specific purpose. And I thought that it's very, very fine. And I think that we should focus there. We will discuss in the next page. Transliteration. People do not pay attention. And most of people do not understand what is transliteration. What is transliteration? If I say, so transliteration means here that if I change one alphabet to another alphabet, that is called transliteration. For example, if I say AAM, so that will be transliteration. And it is unfortunate that no reliable books available. Since government has accepted Hunterian system and it has said to Britain in 2005 that yes, we are continuing Hunterian system. Since Hunterian system has a lot of flaws, it is loaded with drawbacks, but government has not paid attention. Next is no transliteration or IPA given to any name in books create confusions. So what does this mean? I have taught English literature. There I have found so many names from different cultures. We can't pronounce it. We have no books where pronunciation is given. And so that is the reason we pronounce wrongly. We see that wrong pronunciations given in different books. If we find translated form. One book I have consulted, Daniel Jones, English Pronouncing Dictionary, and I found yes, it is far better than any other, but it has limited proponents. Next one is, and what are the solutions? There are so many problems. I have given, this is my own point of views. I have given remedial steps. The following steps: goal-oriented education. Goals should be decided. Why are we giving this content? What is the goal? And it should be clear to the mind of teachers or educators, educatees, right? School, parents, everyone, because they must know. And second one is guidance and career counseling facilities. I have met so many people, so many learners, so many students. They are doing BA, MA, and so many, that taking certificates, so many things. They don't know where he or she has to go. Why? Because they have not, they are not sure about career. They have not counseled by career counseling. And so that is the reason they wander here and there. And at last, they give up. Another thing, superfluous content should be eliminated. Superfluous content means we are all aware that so many, that contents that are not important in this modern era and in this context, but we have to study. I think that we should reduce the weight of this superfluous content. We should eliminate. And if I talk about career navigation for mind mapping, it's very important. And this is the need of modern education. There should be, or there must be, career navigation for the mind mapping of the students. They can map, they can understand their paths. Are they on the right path or not? Right? They can navigate on themselves. If they have any difficulties, they can ask, they can be counseled. Next, modern education. So there are two parts, next two parts. After that, we will discuss, I will give you examples that will support what I have told. Each and everything will be reviewed. So in the next page, we see that pronunciation taught in most of the schools in Devanagari. If I talk about here in local language, you can see so. Sorry, you can say so. We have to understand that in Devanagari, we have different vowels. In English, we have different vowels. In Devanagari, we have 11 vowels. And if I say according to IPA, we have 20 vowels in oral. So actually, we are learning wrong pronunciations in starting. And so what happens? We become habitual because once we condition our tongue, right? We build our tongue conditioning. It is very, that very tough task to remove it. In Hindi, mostly oral and written symbols are same. As we know that in Devanagari, written symbols and oral symbols, most of them are same. But in English, it's totally different. We have seen in written symbols 26 and oral, if I talk about IPA symbols, 44, except suprasegmental symbols. So people can ask that, what is suprasegmental symbols? So suprasegmental symbols are written with diacritics. Suprasegmental symbols gives us details how to pronounce it. Nasal, nasalized, aspirated, and what? So if we count it, then it will be more than 44, right? If I talk about dictionaries, as I have seen, people teach Head means seed, right? Head means seed. And I have asked so many students, then what is seed? Can you tell me where is seed? Where is head? And they have told me that, sir, this area. Sir, this one. They have confused. Why? Because they are not understanding. They are not they are not learning. They are not understanding the meaning of the word. They are understanding only the translated form of the word, and so that is the reason. So, what is the meaning? So, meaning is the way to tell about the things, to make them understand. For example, if I say that head means the upper part of the neck. Okay, sorry, upper part from the neck, upper part, right? It starts from upper part of the neck, right? And so we can say that this is head, and this is the part of head. The face is the part of head, front part, right? If I talk about chair, so people say kursi, right? So what do you mean kursi? What happens when we see a chair? What happens when we see anything? Okay, something happens in our mind. Concept is built. Okay, chair. Okay, back will be there. Seat, legs, arms. Okay, no. Yes, yes. If arms will not be there, it will also be chair. Right. If there will be no backs, no arms, that will be screw. So there will be different structures. There will be made of different materials. So concepts should be learned. And how can we understand this concept? Through meaning, through definition, not through translation. And so that is the reason we should select dictionaries according to labels, according to needs. That will be fine. I have also seen in so many schools and to teach so many teachers, they teach definition. Okay, stand up, tell me the definition of noun. And they say noun is the name of a person, place, or thing. What? Rubbish. Definition is not, that learned by rote. Definition is understood. That definition is only an example. We have to understand noun, and if anyone asks what is noun, we can understand from our mind what we have understood. That will be the part of it. That will be the definition. Definition can be said with the help of explanation, with the help of description, with the help of uses, with the help of features, with the help of color, with the help of functions. Another things, types. Okay, I have seen people confused. Okay, noun has 3 types, 5 types, 4 types. Type is not, that cannot be confined, right? Type totally depends on the base. If you change the base, types will be changed. If I say that on the basis of profession, there will be different type of people. On the basis of color, there will be different types of people. On the basis of gender, there will be male and female. So there will be base will be changed, types will be changed. For example, based on counting, 2 types of noun, countable and uncountable. If I talk about general and a specific base, then 2 types, proper and common. If I talk about on the basis of sense organs, 2 types, abstract and concrete. So there are many more. Now, remedial steps. What should be? I have not extended so much because time is very limited. So remedial steps, application-based teaching should be there. The question may be, how can we? What is application-based teaching? If I talk about English, right? Nowadays, functional grammar is going on, right? In functional grammar, focus on application too. How to use it, what is the structure of a language and how to use it. So we should teach in this way. If I talk about voice, what is voice? Students learn a lot of rules. They say that subject and object changes place or something like this. What? No. You have to understand what is the objective. Why do we change voice from active to passive or passive to active? Why do we change? What is the function in the language? What is the function in communication? Actually, voice is the matter of focus shifting. We just change the focus. If I say that I teach you, you are taught by me. Focus is different. In first, I teach you, so I will be in focus. I will be subject. I will be topic. And if I change, you are taught by me. So here topic is you. We are talking about you. And so that is the reason focus shifting. It was, okay, if I give you another example, so many ways are used for focus shifting. For example, if I say that Mohan studies English, right? It is Mohan who studies English, right? So you can change focus. You can stress upon a particular word. If I give you another example of reported speech, it's very pathetic situation. In the way it is taught, in the way it is evaluated. It is totally packed, right, under the strict rules. It is totally confined under the strict rules. And so it's artificial learning. Actually, I am working on ESP series, English for a specific purpose, where I am focusing on reported speaking communication, where I am focusing on how to eliminate such problems, how to improve it, right? So we have to understand what is reported speech. Why do we study? What is the role in communication? Are we learning in a correct way? Or only we are the victim of this system, education fallacies. I will talk about reported speech in more details in the next slides. Here I have told you that reported speech is used to deliver messages, right? What is this? This is the message. This is the information that can be affected by place, time, and person. If I give you another example, for a position of place, position, directions, actually we are being taught in, at, in for big places, at for small places. What is this? Places depend on dimension. We have to understand dimension. Okay, it's okay for that third, fourth, or fifth if there is any one, but it is not suitable for 9, 10, 11, 12. Right. Another things, language can be learned freely, not under the overloaded rules. We have to understand what to study in grammar and what not to study. We have not to dive to the deep. We have to understand how much things are needed. So we have to focus on English for a specific purpose. Nowadays, in grammar, particularly functional grammar, there are focuses on 5 areas: sound, word, syntax. Semantics means here that meaning. Pragmatics means here that context. Focus, emphasis, right? So focus and emphasis, that are different things. Modern education encourages to get the highest marks. That is also the problem. And so that is the reason students start to follow rote learning. And so as a result, they frustrate. They have fear of failure. They have no positive motivation. As I have told you in starting, no guidance and career counseling for educatees. And so that is the reason they do not have a proper aim. They are confused. They don't understand whom to consult. And so they walk on the paths without destination. And lack of creativity. Nowadays, we see content that is, that has not been changed from the years, from the decades. They do not give any opportunity to creativity. They have imposed a lot of content for rote learning. And so that is the reason students rush only for highest marks. And that is also the demand of parents. Their dependency increases over books, teachers, Google, YouTube. They do not have any trust and belief in themselves. I'm talking about most of the students. Maybe there will be 5 or 10 students will be there, 10%. Negative mindsets, as we all know, that we do not have paths, we have negative mindsets. Why? Basic knowledge. Due to lack of basic knowledge, no career visibility, no understanding of what to do in the life, what is the meaning of life, and so that is the reason lose interest and give up. I am talk about this last slide, remedial steps, and after that I will give 2 or 3 examples in detail. So what should we do? The same thing is here, application based learning, focus shifting from rote learning to concept. Learn to use anything in the context. We should relate it. We should connect it. Whatever we are learning. Whatever we are learning from literature. If you're learning any lesson, we should connect it to our lives and whatever we have taken experiences from our lives. As a teacher, I think be a good researcher. And we should focus on how to make them understand. We should not rely only on books. Focus on what a learner needs actually. And we use ESP. And I reiterate the thing. I will put a lot of stress on the line, set destination and then path. I have seen CBSE syllabus, UP syllabus, Bihar syllabus, Haryana syllabus, and I have found they have not decided the destination. And they have started. Okay, you have to study tense, reported speech, and this. But why? What is the destination? What would we learn, right? What will you learn from this? Are we going to learn simple sentences? Are you going to learn compound sentences and what? How will we use it? So there is no destination. Only we are learning grammar in theoretical way, detaching it from the function. Here I have given example, and actually I am working on this, how to frame a sentence. So here I have decided the destination. I have to teach how to make a simple sentence. And then what is needed for learning a simple sentence? Features, parts, elements, agreement, types, time. That's all. And one important thing, we have to learn by doing, we should not learn by rote learning. And now I'm going to give you examples of reported speech, and another I will focus on transliteration. So reported speech depends on time, place, and person. Here I can't focus more. So what is the function of reported speech in communication? We have to ask that. Can the transformation of direct speech help a learner in this way? Whatever we are learning, it is going to help the learner, a learner. I have given example. I've taken example from British Council, direct speech and indirect speech. You can see here. I'll phone you tomorrow. And in direct form, he said he'd phone me the next week. So what is the difference between tomorrow and the next day? Are both the same? Are both the synonyms? Okay, focus on I'll and he means here that will and would. Yes, it can be if we are talking about past. So will, future, present future, and would, past future. Here you have to understand how will it change into would. Here you have to focus tomorrow, the next day. The next day is the right word, the right phrase of tomorrow, the right substitution of tomorrow. Here we are changing will to would. So why are we teaching? Why are we only giving synonyms of tomorrow? What is the meaning? What do we want to say? Another example: I work in a bank, said Daniel. Daniel said that he worked in a bank. Is this enough to say? Why is this enough? We have to understand. We have to stop and think these 4 points. First point, time. We have to think 2 vital pieces of information important for transformation. First, the time of the utterance, when the particular sentence is spoken, and the actual time of the action or the state. The actual time of the action or the state in a sentence. We have to think and we have to see the difference of time between two. If I talk about place, we have to focus on, are we talking about the same place or different place? First, second, and third person. Are we talking to the same person or person is different? First, second, or third? What? As we have seen, there are a list of particular words showing nearness of place of time and place change to far place and time. So nearness to change into far place and time. For example, this, that, today, that day, but yesterday, the day before. Why the day before? We have to say the day before Monday, the day before Sunday, we have to use it according to our need. We have to understand time. Actual time of the action or state or at the time of the utterance. What is the difference? The statement is reported on the same day or after 10 minutes or the next day or after 2 days or 3 days. It affects. We have to think, is there any clarity? Then what will be the solution? We have to work. And the last one's literation. Ma'am, how much time I have? Hello?
Yes, sir. I think you have time. We can still continue if you have some slides left. You can, continue presenting.
Okay, so
Yes.
how much time can I take? Means that 5, 10, 15 minutes so that I can.
Absolutely, sir. You can take your time. 15, 20 minutes. You can take your time. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's talk about transliteration. So transliteration in India, Hunterian system, in India, in Pakistan, Hunterian system is accepted. And it has been accepted from the British time. There are so much, that There are so many problems, so many drawbacks here. After all, we are following. But in practice, in practical, we are using hodgepodge. For Sanskrit, we are using IAST. Not in India, but international at international level. International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration is the full form of IAST. So I want to show you something, and after that I will talk Ram or Rama. What is the difference? Okay, so you can see here Devanagari. Just a moment. Okay, transliteration form. Hungarian system. You can see here now. So Devanagari or Hungarian is A. If okay, A, and then proposed diacritic forms. Devanagari. So transliteration is done by different methods, different systems. IAST, ISO 15919, Monier Williams S72, Harvard Kyoto, iTrans, Beltruis, SLP1. We have to focus on IAST, ISO 15919, and Hunterian system. We have to focus on these three. But Hunterian system, I think that we should not focus there, right? Why? So for this, I give you example. Ram, people say Rama, Mahabharata, Krishna, okay, and so many. Why? Why Ram? Why Rama? People will be confused, and they say RAM versus RAMA. What is the difference? Are we right? Are we not sheep-mind people? RAM, if I say, I will again show you again. RAM, that is the system of Hunterian system. And in IAST, Ma is written with A, MA. Ra is written RA. But in Hunterian system, Ra is written with R, not RA. So that is the reason RAM is Ram and RMA is also Ram. But what is this? IAST, as I have told you, this is used for transliterating Sanskrit, right? Means here that Sanskrit. So there is Rama, RAMA, if the Sanskrit has been taken from the Sanskrit or Sanskrit. RAM has been taken from Hindi. And so that is the reason there are different variations of spelling. And not Rama is read. RM, Ram, and then last A is pronounced like Shwa. Oh, right? Rama, Rama. And this is the difference. In the same way, Mahabharata, Ramayana, not Mahabharata, Ramayana. Why do you not say Mohana? Why do you not say Kundana? Why do you not say Jayaprakasha? We can't say so. Is this for limited words? Or is this for all? No answer. We have to understand this transliteration system. If you want to go in details, there are research papers on the Google. You can see, you can go through. Next, you can see IAST form. IAST system, ISO 15919. Monier, you can see, all is written in this way. Okay. You can see what is the difference between A and A. A, and then you can see diacritic line. Line has been given above A, and so A. So you can see here, you can see KA, Ka, IST, KA, Ka in ISO, because IST is the subset of ISO 15999 and 990. If I talk about Harvard, Kyoto, iTrans, well, these are for that machine transliteration. Here you can say Hunterian system. A, not double A. But we have taken double A from where? From where? We have taken from iTrans, well, TUIs. So we have mixed, right? If I talk about here, KSA, right? You can see here Hunterian, not KA, but we have seen in IS3 KA. So that is the difference. And that is the difference of RAM and RAMA. We should not say Rama, Shyama, right? Otherwise, meaning will be confused. People will be confused. I give you another example. You can see on the Google too, if you want. Transliteration form of our national anthem, Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya. So what you can see, JANA. Should we say Jana Gana Mana? Should we say in this way? It will not be absurd. Bharat Bhagya Vidhata, not Bhagya, not Bhagya, right? Not Bharata, Bharat. PANJABA, Punjaban, no Punjaba, Punjab. We should learn. And so that is the reason I have used sheep mind people. We have no time to consult. We have no time to think, right? And so that is the reason we follow on the basis of assumption. So we can see here that not Punjaba, not Sindha, not Gujarata, right? Not Banga, something like this. Why? Because this is ISO 5919 or IAST, and so that is the reason. I hope that you are understanding. This is Latin transliteration, IPA transliteration. How nowadays pronunciation is taught in totally different ways, as you have seen, totally different ways. Personal, that with personal approach. No, this is a ha, right? Care, right? Not we have to learn in we have not to learn in this artificial way. We have to understand why do we say this is aspirated care, but not we should add it with each and every word in starting. We have to understand whatever I have mentioned, supra-segmental features of phonetics. I have written a book on phonetics, easy phonetics. Editing is left. Next, ESP. I would say that we all must focus on this concept, ESP, English for a specific purpose. As I have told you in starting, my ESP series focuses on skill and to the point. It's a manual for training. So I have completed one book and one book is in progress. As I have told you in starting about ESP and transliteration, ESP on framing sentences, ESP on learning interviewing skills, and so many things. Now, questions, answers. All 5 questions. What are the regions? English is taught from the very beginning. But after more than a decade, a student is not able to speak or write effectively or both. Cause and remedy. Prescribed books, education system, the way to teach, All three. Validity of knowledge, approaches, like we follow traditional approaches. This is not suitable for this modern. Remedy, student-centered approaches should be there. Student-centered learning should be there. We have to understand what is student-centered learning, what is 21st century techniques. We have to focus on a skill-based learning. And for a teacher, for updation, we should join concerned association. For English, like LTI, IATFL. Second question, what are the regions? Students learn SST, maths, language, science, but they are not able to use them or relate them to their lives. Cause, same as the previous that I have mentioned for first question. Here I will focus on marks, same evaluation for all subjects. That should not be there. And what is the remedy? Learn to use any topic in the context. In the context. Learn by doing activities, by observation. We should not see a chair, means kursi. We should see that how does it look like? Experiences. Unemployment is on its feet. One of the factors I think is huge difference between what's taught and what are the market requirements. Focus on marks, focus on certificates, not focus on quality, not focus on justification with the earned certificates. And what should be remedy? Education system must be changed. We have to change the ways we perceive the things. We should focus on how it looks like, how it is different from others, how chair is different from a stool, bench. Why? Next question, are we receiving correct information or we are sheep-mind people? As I have given you examples of transliteration. As I have given you examples of definition. As I have given you examples of types and so many. Questions, answers. Should grammar be taught? Yes or no? It depends on our need. If we want to learn only for general communication, I think that grammar is not required. We learn Hindi, we learn Telugu, we learn Odia. Without consulting grammar, we can learn English. But if we are learning for a specific purpose, we should learn grammar. But we have to keep in our mind that it should be limited. We have to know that what to teach and what not to teach. Another thing, the way grammar is taught is mundane. Why mundane? Because we do not have any destination. Why do we study? What is the use of these rules in our communication? It is imposed with so many rules. Grammar for different purposes should be there. Grammar for communication, functional grammar, word grammar, sentence grammar, sound grammar, prose grammar, poetry grammar. There are so many types of grammar. Rhetorical grammar. We have to select according to our need. We have to set the objective in advance and then we should go on the path. And with this, thank you so much. Hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that very descriptive presentation on education fallacies, which I think you have drawn from your experience while working in different states, as you mentioned. That was very commendable and very, I think, very helpful for our education audience that's watching and for people who will also watch. But before we conclude, sir, I have a few questions for you. One of them being, how can teachers in the classroom, when they're teaching, avoid these educational fallacies and teach students, the best that they can, and inspire students to do better and avoid these various fallacies in education?
Oh, nice question. Actually, we have to update ourselves.
Yes, sir.
I have seen that so many teachers have no clear concept, right? And so that,
Yes,
for example, tense, they teach present tense, past tense, future tense. What present, past? Do you know the difference between time and tense?
yes.
Present, past, and future is time. And this time is told through tense. And what is tense? How tense is shown, how tense is expressed, right? So, through forms of verb. So, we have to understand this practical aspect. And I will say that there is a book, it has been, it is a simplified version of linguistics grammar,
Okay.
University Grammar of English. That has been written by Randolph Quark and Sidney Greenbaum, right? So that's very interesting book. I think that it will help a lot. Right? And another book is that Collins Coville Dictionary, grammar. So these books
Okay.
are going to help. Right?
Okay, okay. That's
Yeah,
thank you, sir. And since you just mentioned, that we should update ourselves, teachers should update themselves. So, what are your
yes,
thoughts on basically, the importance of teacher training? How we can train our teachers to update themselves and to shed these old ways of thinking and teaching. What's your take on
right.
that, on teacher training, proper teacher training,
Right.
basically?
It's also a nice question, man. Actually, if I talk about, I will talk about in the context of English language
Yes.
only. I was a member of, not this time, LTI, IATFL, and I have seen that there's, that if I talk about IATFL, this is International Association of uh, Teachers, right? There,
Okay. Okay.
if there are 100 teachers, 200 teachers means that 200 brains.
Yes,
They
sir.
all will give information, different ways, different approaches, and there are
Absolutely.
monthly meetings, right? Monthly webinar on teachers updation. Another thing we have to focus on, that BEd is not going to help anymore. Okay,
Yes, sir.
every time we have to face challenges, right? So we have to understand, we have to research. I would reiterate that we have to research. We have to connect ourselves with books, with associations. We have to understand the psychology. We have not to accept any books content or any books any person says. We have to have rational mind. We have to have logical mind, and then in this way we can uh, be a good teacher, or we can understand.
That's a very
Yes,
good, very wonderful answer. And one we
thank
have
you.
very heavy question which says, what is the role of government policy making, in eliminating education fallacy? What's the role that the government can play in avoiding this? Does that question make sense? And would you like to take that question if that's important?
Government's rule, right? National Education
Yes, sir.
Policy. In
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
1986, in 1986, 2022, we see the difference.
Yes, sir.
Long decades, right?
Yes,
We
sir.
see the difference. If I talk about CBSE class 11, English, Ranga's marriage, what is the moral of this lesson? What is the moral of this lesson? Child's marriage. Should it be there? No. We have to change. We have to change. If I talk about so many means here that content is given and then questions are given. Why? We have to use different types of functional aspect of language. Okay, it should be included in chapter. For example, people do not understand what is the difference between article and essay. What are the objectives, and so that is the reason a big base of this. So I think that
That's
it has sufficed.
Thank you, sir. That's a very wonderful answer to, I think, a question
Yeah,
that was
thank you
very
so
heavy
much.
also. Thank you for highlighting the difference also. I think it's very important that we realize that there's a huge difference in, the educational policy making, and the government also has a role to play. Well,
And
thank you so much.
yeah,
Yes, yes, sir. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
and
Please.
so I'm working on ESP series, man.
Okay, sir.
And I hope that in this year I will complete one or two books more, two more books, right? So actually,
Absolutely,
I
sir.
am trying to eliminate these things. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. That's a very congratulations, sir. I wish you all the best, and I hope are able to complete those books. And once you complete those books, we'll be very happy to have you over here once again to discuss those books and also the path forward. Well, once
Yeah.
again, sir, thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us.
so much.
And
Yeah.
if you would like to conclude by giving a message to our teachers, basically, we have a teacher audience, teacher and educational from people from the education sector. So if you have any, final word of conclusion
Yeah.
for them, I think that'd be
I would
very
like to say in one word that we should not understand this profession. We should work it with passion. This time I'm
yes.
working is 24 hours. My mind always there, are always. So that,
That's
so
a very,
patience.
very sweet message. So thank you so much. I hope my teachers and everyone who is watching will definitely take away something from your presentation. And I
Thank
hope
you,
to see
Neha.
you again. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.